everyone. It's lovely to see everyone so bright and early, and to kick off this event. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you to all the organisers. Thank you, George, for taking this task on. It is a great task. We see that it's growing every year. The attendance is great for this early in the morning. I'm sure it will get better as we move on through the event, and hopefully the discussions are going to be really interesting. So just to set the scene a little bit about what we're doing as Shipping Deputy Ministry, George says I've been around for many, many years, but I've only actually been around for 2 years as Shipping Deputy Minister, so it does seem like a long time. But in those 2 years, we've been working a lot at moving the sector forward. So those are the details that we all know of shipping's contribution. We're very happy that the number of people working in shipping, according to statistical services, is increasing. It's about 3% of our population, which is a pretty high percentage, and that's of course for the onshore jobs. For offshore, the numbers are much, much higher. But one of our main challenges is to encourage Cypriot people to become part of that, and to increase the number of Cypriots that embrace the shipping industry, both at sea and of course onshore as well. So just moving on to have a look at a few numbers. So we have a large fleet, which is about 25 million gross tonnage at the moment. So about 1,100 vessels. It is growing steadily, and we're doing a lot to promote the growth of the flag, and I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing later. But before we do that, just to touch on the number of companies within our tonnage tax system. So you can see there in orange the increase of the overall number of companies. So something like 53 when our tonnage tax system was introduced back in 2010, and now it's 219 over there as at the end of 2019. So more than quadrupled in number in the last 4 years. The grey line that you see is the owners of foreign ships. So the three lines at the bottom are the different types of companies registered in our system. So grey is the owners of foreign ships, and the others is managers and charterers. So managers and charterers have a steady growth, but due to the high number that we already have, of course the growth seems less impressive in terms of the graph, whereas the owners of foreign ships seems to be quite a large increase. So that's the breakdown of the companies. We really hope that we will continue with the same rate of increase in future years as well. But what's important to us is to achieve a cluster that is complete and that is sophisticated, and that's really what we're trying to do. So working on a number of different fronts to obviously encourage the fleet to grow, but also to encourage all the different activity that goes around sort of the ship owning and ship management to grow as well. So our tax and legal framework is of course the basis of that. It's not the only thing that makes Cyprus a good base for operations, but it is obviously a very big pillar, together with our common law system, of course, which is very important for shipping. So how is that looking at the moment? We'll have a look in a second at the latest developments. So obviously our mission is to retain that stability that we showed, and that growth that we showed in the earlier slides, and providing clarity to investors and to people who are based in Cyprus is definitely one of our main aims in order to achieve that. So obviously we will talk about a lot of shipping challenges today, and we look forward to hearing about it, but a lot of it is extremely difficult to deal with for you, mostly for companies, but also for us as a regulator, because as I mentioned, we want to embrace stability, we want to encourage global measures, we want to encourage the introduction of measures which are sustainable, for the industry and which allow the industry to grow. But at the same time, we cannot ignore the change that is happening around us. And if we are not part of that change, then obviously the world will pass us by. So we need to find the fine balance of introducing change without alienating and without creating barriers to business. So for us, that means that our ultimate goals are the same as they always have been, but the intricacies and the complications are obviously increasing for all of us. So what are we doing in terms of shipping deputy ministry activities? Obviously our actions in terms of promotion have intensified in the last couple of years. Following our rebranding, we have been doing quite a lot of work in being present at international conferences, important events abroad, and also being in touch with all our clients. However, that's not very effective if it's not followed by actions that increase our competitiveness. So the most important thing, actually, late last year, we had the approval by the EU of the successful prolongation of our tonnage tax system. That is something that is really key for us, and it gives us the confidence and the ability to actually continue our work, our promotional work, knowing that we have another 10 years of companies operating under pretty much the same framework that they have been operating under so far. So given everything that's happening around us, we think that's an important achievement. Now, just a few words about the new tonnage tax system. Companies operating under the current system will be able to continue to operate under the new system with no major changes. So that's for us a really good thing, that clients who are already here are not going to be affected. And we also have a few good points added to the list of advantages, let's say, one of which is that we will have discounts on tonnage tax rates for environmentally friendly vessels. So we haven't yet written the rules of what constitutes an environmentally friendly vessel, but obviously it will be over and above the compliance requirements that are already in place. And we also have a wider list of eligible vessels, which makes us able to approach certain types of companies with specific vessels, for example, in the oil and gas industry that were previously not eligible. In addition to that, we've also simplified our fees. So we have completely eliminated our initial registration fees and also our mortgage fees upon registration of a vessel, partially also because we don't want to penalise companies for choosing us, because obviously the Turkish embargo sometimes creates some restrictions, so we don't want companies to have difficulty in those types of situations. So the initial registration fees are gone, but we've also simplified all the rest of the fees, and we think that they are extremely competitive with no hidden costs and nothing unpredictable or fussy to deal with down the line. We've also revised our policy on the registration of vessels to make it more simple and more transparent, and also based on qualitative measures, which we believe works well, but we're very open to suggestions on how to improve it further. One-stop service, that's very important to us, and we are working on increasing the level that we provide, where we provide single point of contact service to our clients. So in terms of what's happening around us, obviously we have a role to play, as I was saying before, in being an international player which actually has a say in the formulation of policy. So getting re-elected at the IMO Council, fourth in our category with the highest number of votes we ever got, 140 votes last year, was a big success for us, and it's a recognition of the work that we've been doing at the IMO. So we're very pleased with that. We hope that in 2 years we can repeat that success, but in the meantime we intend to work very hard to continue to actually make a positive contribution. And at the same time, providing quality service, obviously top priority, 24/7 services have been enhanced. We've tested them. We've got your feedback, and we understand that they're working well. And we want to be also enhancing them as we go along. But also, we're doing a lot to increase the safety, to enhance the safety aspect. So we've signed last year revised agreements with all our recognized organizations. That's important also for the use of technology within in our relationship with the ROs. We are also strengthening our network of inspectors, and on a local level we are funding coastal vessels in order for them to become more environmentally friendly, accessible to disabled people, etc. From the environmental side, of course, we have a lot of views, which I think Yanis Evstratil will also talk about in the next panel. So you'll find out more about that and our work at the EU and IMO level in a little bit. In terms of online services, of course, we're making a great effort to enhance what is online. We've completely revamped our website, and on there you can find a suite of online services which clients can use. So latest additions is the e-verification of all our certificates, but obviously the online Seafarers application system, which was already in place, is now being enhanced. And so that means that we have a Seafarers career platform now that is available on there for seafarers to use as they wish and to share information as they wish with companies. But we're also shortly issuing a tender process in order to further upgrade that system and make batch reading available and some further use of technology for verification and user-friendliness. We're also in the process of making our ship registration process online, and that should be something that we will roll out within 2020. So we're looking forward to that as well. So just the last little bit about blue growth. Blue growth is very important to us. Our strategy for blue growth is basically coordinating all the ministries and deputy ministries involved. One of the things involves education, where we're making a lot of effort to increase, as I mentioned earlier, the number of students over here in Cyprus. So to do that, we have also expanded the grants that we give to EU students, not just to Cypriot students, and that's we hope will increase the number of students coming to Cyprus to study at the maritime academies. And we have also introduced maritime direction in secondary education as of the start of the academic year. So we plan to do a little sort of tour of visits to schools to find out how that has been going and what more we can do. But a lot more is being done in terms of awareness campaigns and in terms of lots of events in collaboration with many organizations here in Cyprus to encourage awareness and maritime education. And last but not least, innovation. We're very much looking forward to the further development of the CMMI. The CMMI has more than 40 million in funds now to take advantage of to actually produce practical solutions that the industry so badly needs. So we hope that Cyprus can be a player in producing those innovative solutions for the industry, both in terms of environmentally friendlier fuel and modes of transport, but also in terms of the autonomy of vessels or the safety aspect as well. And we very much support, as a member of the board of the CMMI, Shipping Deputy Ministry very much supports it, obviously with funding of 15 million from the Cyprus government as well. But just to say a few words, CMMI is not the only innovation project that we're supporting. There are a number of projects going on under the umbrella of CIFOS, which is of course a very important sort of umbrella organization for the innovation that is happening, but also certain projects like FISH, which is a project that we're doing with a local company called Prevention at Sea for automating our port state control system. The pilot system should be up and running in a few months' time, so we look forward to rolling that out as well. So that's it as an overview of what we've been doing. Thank you for your attention. Wish you all the best for the conference and look forward to